Hi, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. My name is Chris with Kristen's Crafts, and today I'm bringing you the fifth and final process video for the June Build-A-Beige series. So today's is going to be a double page spread, and these are pictures of the garter throw for my son's wedding. So what I'm going to be doing is using this wood grain paper along with the paper that looks like party lights, which resembles the lights that they actually had strung in the barn. Now you're going to see here I'm kind of struggling, and I'm going to have to cut my paper down a little bit shorter. For whatever reason, I have a new blade on my Fisker, and it was just eating up this photo play paper. So I did grab out my what is it, the cutter bee or whatever, trimmer, and it gives such a nice clean cut, just a little bit bigger and bulkier than I like to use, but I got them out. So here I took and cut a 3-inch band, and I'm going to use that with the party light paper, and I'm just piecing it together using another piece of scrap paper to go ahead and get my 12 inches. And that way I'm bringing in the other half of the I have the wood grain for the background, but then I still get that party lights, which gives me the mood and the feel for the reception where obviously the garter throw is. Now I'm just looking to see what I have for scraps that I can bridge across the 2 pages that I'll be able to kind of bring it all together with the colors and things. So here I have the photos. I have the ones, well, here I'm still fussing with the length. I decided that I was going to end up taking that little tiny sliver of paper off the other half just so the two sides are the same height. And I'm lining up the wood grain so that goes across the 2 pages. Even though when it's in the album, it won't matter for what I'm doing today. It was annoying me that they was shifting, and this is trying to make it stay together so I have the 2 pages all together. So on the left-hand side, I have the photos of Kevin when he's taken the garter off of Emily. And then there was one horizontal photo that I ended up using at the very top. So it kind of goes in sequential order of it's first him taking it off, and then him, the guy's standing and waiting, and then the guy's catching it at the end. And then there's the final picture of the guy who actually caught the garter. So that's basically how the layout's going to look. Now I did trim down some of the photos a little bit because I didn't want it going all the way to the edge. So I figured by cutting it down just a tad bit, it brought it in a little bit and kind of brings it in. So I decided the paper that I was going to use is going to be this pink that I'm going to have go all the way across the layout. Now I do trim it down, and I think I'm going to only have it the length or the width of that last piece of paper, but you're going to see I'm actually going to swap it out, and I'll end up using the other piece and having it go further over as more like a banner, and I'm going to fishtail it. Off camera, I fussy cut out the lace doily again. It's the other half of the paper from yesterday. And I'm going to go ahead and have that as my scallop piece from the sketch. Now here I'm going, and this is where I change my mind, and I decide that I'm going to use the larger piece and actually have it go further out onto the layout. It just seemed to look nicer when I did that. And here's where I just fishtail it. And then I'm just going to line everything up so that they're all even. Now the nice thing is that for a lot of this, I'm using the lines within the wood grain paper to line everything up so it's kind of straight. And then I'm just going in, starting from the center and then moving out so that I have just that little bit of an edge on the outside so it's not running all the way to the outside edge. And then here I'm doing kind of the same thing. I'm starting a little bit up from the bottom. I will have to shift things a little bit just so that I have more of an even distance between the top and the bottom. I bring this one down a little bit. And then the last thing I'm going to do to finish it off is I am going to take the photo of my son with the gentleman who caught the garter, and I'm actually going to put that on some of the pink paper. I believe it's the pink, this floral, and that way it kind of highlights the person who caught the garter. And then I'll put that to the left hand side. The last thing I'm going to have to do is do some decorating. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to again use the florals, using the three different spots on the sketch. So I'm going to have one here in the bottom right hand side. I'll put it at the top right hand side, and then I pretty much go across the top of the left hand side page. And so these are just going to be my base for my embellishments. And I'm going to find that I'm actually going to have a little bit of difficulty with the embellishing this round, only because the papers that I had didn't really have a lot for the reception part. And so I did go into my stash and find another sticker sheet that kind of worked. It's a little bit more gold than I wanted. But in the end, I'm happy with how it turned out. I always go back and critique my stuff. And, and then when I go back and look in the book, I'm like, it's not so bad. So here I am. I've got my florals on here. And here's where I'm going through and just trying to find anything that would be more party related. So I did find this tag that says Mr. and Mrs. And since they are at this point, Mr. and Mrs., I kind of like that. So I just kind of put that on an angle. And I'm going to look and see if I can find another tag that I can stick behind the flower just to have it peeking out. But when I did it, I really didn't like the way it looked. So I ended up abandoning that idea. I really like the mason jar and wish I could have found a way to put that in. But it just didn't look right together. So I went back to my original Mr. and Mrs. I just rearranged it so that the tag was more forward versus behind the florals. And again, I'm looking at the stickers, I'm looking at the die cuts I have cut out, and I'm just not finding anything that really is meeting the purposes that I want. Now I'm seeing those little party lights. I should have used those, but at the time I didn't see them. I thought about Mr. and Mrs. stuff, but this is really more about Kevin and all the bachelors, so I didn't think that really worked. So then I kind of am looking at the Rosie Studio stuff, but again, that's all die cuts on white background. So that's when I go into my stash and I find, I can't remember who made that Love and Party. I think it might be like an Amy Tan. And then I have this other that's like clear stickers that I had. I think they were from probably Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to use this one that says Good Times. I'm putting that at the bottom. It's kind of a ribbon. And then I grabbed these chipboard stickers. They have absolutely zero adhesive on them. They are awful. American Crafts really needs to step it up and like get some adhesive that works. But then I grabbed the word party, and so that's kind of going to be my title. And then I found another sticker that says so happy, and then I moved the word party over, and then I'm going to find one more sticker from that clear sticker sheet. I can't remember what it says. Love. And so I just thought, I'm just going to do a stack of words. So love, party, so happy, Mr. and Mrs., and it's kind of pointing to them. Put a little twine on my tag. Hello, I'm lost for words today. And now the last thing I'm going to do is I am going to sprinkle some of these stars around in each of the clusters. At the top, I'm going to go ahead and find one more sticker, and I forget what this one says. I'm sure it says something like go party or something to that effect. and then some more stars around there. And that is going to be it for the layout. Pretty happy, like I said, with how it turned out. Off camera, I will add a little more adhesive. Oh, and then I did add some gold sequins on here just to bling it up because, again, this is reception and party time. Thanks for stopping by.